I'm just started out in the gym. I'm in this beginner phase.
Yeah.
3 things that you're like must-haves.
I think you need a workout, like you need a weekly split.
Yep.
Like you need to know what days you're going to the gym and what you're doing.
Yep.
I think it's...
So girls don't do lower every fucking day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I think you need to have some form of progressiveness in your training.
Yep.
So then that really leads against what I kind of said earlier, which is like you obviously would have a program and like kind of manage your performance and stuff like that. And you need to have good technique.
Yeah.
Well, you need to have a focus on improving your technique. Sorry, not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the only caveat I have on that, like, which just leans into the meathead of me is like, you know, there was a lot of times where I did enjoy just going in and just like watching a workout online or Ronnie Coleman's redemption DVDs. And then you're just like, oh, I'm just going to fucking go. You know, like it was fucking fun, man. So I think you can just have like we got into the gym because we liked it. Yeah. So I think that is important as well.
The only other one I would layer into that is like, have a plan because it'll keep you going. Like if you're walking in the door knowing what you're going to do, making sure you make it through your first 6 months is the key.
Yeah.
Things that'll improve that is having good technique because you won't get hurt, having a program because you'll know what to do when you get there.
Yeah.
And then maybe some, like most people know, eat protein. Like if you just...
Oh, yeah. Well, lifestyle...
The nutrition guide.
Lifestyle-wise, like we didn't even talk about anything else outside of training.
Yeah.
But there are obviously heaps of things that are going to keep you coming back because you're going to be recovered. You're going to be responding well to the workout, performance, etc.
Those 3 things, though, in your first 6 months will get you to...
Yeah.
All right, now we're in a position where we can... You've learnt the skill of lifting weights. Now, let's take it from beginner to intermediate and start actually pursuing some numbers and all that kind of stuff. So when we get into that block, because honestly, I think most people that I work with are starting in that intermediate block. Like they've made it through the newbie phase and now they're like, okay, I need progress to slow down. I need an expert. I need accountability and I need an expert to put the plan together to make sure I'm getting the most out of it. And I'm kind of invested now. Yeah. I give a shit, so I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to commit the time and the effort 100%. To learn.
Absolutely. That's where most of us work with, like that person.
So stage 2, 3 things.
I think you need to learn how to prepare for your sessions more effectively because you're going to be lifting. Yeah, so you're going to be lifting heavier loads.
Yep.
I think you need to learn. I'm going to call it body protection during your lifts. So it's learning how to put yourself in a safer position using heavy lifts. So it's like your bracing, all of your cues to protect yourself from like the floor up, we'll call it.
Yep.
So that becomes a huge emphasis as well. And then I still think like just on top of that, keeping that progressiveness, which is going to stay within every single kind of phase for me.
Yeah,
so
I think
those 3 things are important.
I think a specific program now matters. Exercise selection, order, frequency, volume, like they matter now.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take the progressiveness out, and managing volume and intensity becomes a really big factor because in the first phase, your learning phase, like you don't train hard. Like respectfully, you have no idea what you're capable of. You know, so then it's like now you're learning volume and intensity, and you have to manage the fatigue because of your training effort. Yeah, and then
going into advanced lifter. What, at least 5 years, sometimes more in the gym?
Yeah, I would say 3, you know? Yeah. I feel like a well-trained, very...
I think if you did those 3 things...
Correct.
At both stages for 3 years, you would get there.
Yeah. I think at 3 years. Like, I think a beginner's 6 to 12 months. Yeah. I think your intermediate is like, 1 month to 2 to 3 years. Yeah. I think at 3 years, like, you're an advanced trainee. Yeah. Like, especially if you've done it... Like, I'm talking not time in the gym. I'm talking time like this. Yeah. Structured training, you're very methodical. So the 3 things I would say are like that hyper specificity to your workout split, hyper specificity to your workout order. Yeah. And then again, picking movements that like the individual. Yep. Over movements that they like that their body may not enjoy. Most of the time. So it's picking. So it's like, example would be, I can pendulum squat every week or hack squat every week, and I can do that for 52 weeks in a year. I would still probably like to get under a barbell because I just like to see what I could do. Yeah. I would only maybe do that for like 8 to 10 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
So you're taking 42 weeks of other stuff.
Yeah.
So that would be the 3 things I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you already know your training effort's good. You already know like what your overall training volume is, which is typically going to be a little bit lesser because you're so proficient. So then it's just like, pick the right exercises. That keeps it progressive.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that stops you from like progressing or maintaining performance is like it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can't recover properly, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like the gun analogy for this. Phase 1 is the shotgun.
Absolutely.
Phase 2 is the rifle.
Yeah.
Phase 3 is the sniper.
Yeah.
Like you just.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest take homes.
Tam, can you flick the timer, please, sir?
Yeah. Anything else to add on that?
No, it was cool. It's good awareness, I think, no matter what stage you are, to know that it evolves. And the biggest lesson for me, I think, is just remembering what used to work won't always.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What got you here won't necessarily take you to the next stage.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the strength alone, like your capacity to express strength is the best example of that. It's like, do you really need to spend 5x5 on a deadlift now to make your deadlift any greater?
Fuck.
Probably not. No, you don't. You don't.
But it would just like fry me.
Yeah. And all of the training that you've done up until this point in the last 12 months, like you do a peaking block of your deadlifts, like you're going to be pretty fucking close, man.
Yeah.
So that's proof in the pudding in its own. So don't get too hung up on, that specificity of the exercise. Like your training needs to just like meet where you're at. And a good coach, or if you've got a good head on your shoulders, you should be able to sit there and go, this is where I'm at. This is what I need. And then that's how it's mapped out for you.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
I'll hire a coach. We know some.
There's been a couple of times myself, I'm like, the universe is speaking to me.
Yeah.
It's like, is this my moment?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here and you liked what you heard, join the mission, like, share, follow. Really helps with, kind of getting the message out there. If you guys are in a position where you're feeling a little bit stuck, like your effort's not matching the results that you want, we're taking applications for online coaching. Can help you guys build muscle, you lose body fat, get stronger, build the best physique that you've ever had. We're taking applications. Join the website. We'll get on a chat. We'll talk about, who are we the right fit, and we'll put you with the right coach who is. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.